We all know it. Walked it every day. But none of them were like these. The world's most dangerous ways to school. Climbing, freezing, paddling for hours, all for the chance of a better life. Risky, spectacular, and sometimes simply beautiful. The world's most dangerous ways to school. They have only one goal: to attend school. But the only way to get there leads them across the river and the ice. No one likes walking it, but whoever wants to go to school has no choice. 4 days through the canyon. 4 days of struggle. 4 days of torrential water. It is one of the longest existing ways to school, and definitely one of the most dangerous ones. Zangla, a village on the river Zanskar, high up in the Latak, in the Indian Himalaya mountains. Everything seems sheltered, idyllic, almost like a small world of its own. Which is exactly the problem the 650 people living here face, because their village lies in the midst of the Himalayan mountains, which are up to 8,000 meters high. They are isolated from the outside world in an almost never-ending winter. There are only a few months free from snow and ice. That's why the children who want to attend the good schools in town must take on one of the most dangerous ways on earth. Motup is only 10 years old, and even if it sounds incredible, he takes on this extremely dangerous journey. Motup attends boarding school in Leh, the second largest town in Latak. The 2 months of winter break are now coming to a close. Even though lessons will first start in a week's time, it's Motup's last day in the village. Motup is one of the few boys who regularly leave the village in order to attend one of the better schools in town. 2 years ago, he won a scholarship for the school. Since then, his and his family's life have changed a lot. For his schooling, Motup leaves many of his friends behind for a long time, because most of the children attend the standard school in the village. The way to school really is an expedition, lasting several days, for which Motup's parents, Latak and Chosdon, prepare meticulously. Latak will accompany his son on the way across the frozen river. There are no shopping facilities or accommodations on the river. The essentials, like provisions and sleeping bags, have to be carried by father and son themselves. Latak must not forget anything. Every packing mistake can become life-threatening on their journey. The heavy load is carried on the self-built sleigh most of the way. The Chadar, as the way on the ice is called, makes many demands of fathers and sons.
The Chadar poses many riddles. The water may rise at any time. Obstacles may appear from nowhere. Therefore, the journey may take 7 to 8 days, and sometimes even more than a fortnight. That's why we have to carry all the stuff with us.
The children, living in the up to 4,000-meter high-lying mountain valleys of northwestern India, must decide early on whether they want to leave their village at some point. In most cases, this is only possible if they go to a better school at an early age. Young Dol lives in the neighboring village. Her big house is almost empty because none of her 4 children live at home on a permanent basis. All of them attend school far away from the village.
Okay, take this swith, and this also.
Her daughter, Dolka, is 12 years old and is anxiously preparing for her dangerous way to school. But for her dream job, she puts up with a lot.
I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to take care of patients. I like doctors.
Her mother, Young Dol, wants her children to attend good schools. That's why both she and her children accept the separation.
If children agree to go to that school, it's already a great relief. Nowadays, without proper schooling, one is no longer a valuable member of society. That's why we send the children to school. Whether one becomes valuable or not, education is a must.
Shortly before departure, Motup, who is in the 5th grade, and his father take another close look at the river. They have only made the journey, the Chadar, one other time before, and that was the previous year. How long will it take them this time? And whether they will make it at all solely depends on the condition of the river's ice. Apart from this bridge, there is no infrastructure at all on the Zanskar. The river is completely untouched, inaccessible, without a footpath on either side. For father and son, it's of vital importance to know the river and its dangers in detail.
We first have to cross the ice over there. You agree, don't you? Afterwards, we can easily pull the sleigh through the snow.
But Motup is not really listening. He dreams what the risky way across the river might hold in store for him.
I want to be a pilot when I grow up. Because the pilot and his plane are always up in the air. I like that. I'd love to be up in the air.
The way to his dream, dangerous and far. About 100 kilometers on foot through melting ice lie ahead of the 10-year-old boy. The Chadar has many facets, and even among the local experts, it is considered to be entirely unpredictable. Anyone walking along here is afraid of falling in and being pulled under by the current. The last dinner within the family circle. Motup was at home for 2.5 months. Now he's leaving again for a very long time. The family is proud because Motup was selected for a school which was founded by the Dalai Lama. Not only in the neighboring Tibet, but also in the Indian Latak, the Dalai Lama is the most worshipped and admired person. Motup says goodbye to his family with a song in honor of the school founder. The next morning, the 12-year-old Doka starts even earlier on her way to school. Her home is quite far away from the point of access to the river. Her mother, Young Dol, accompanies her. Motup says goodbye to his mother outside the house. Except 2 weeks for summer holidays, he won't see his family for 9 months from now on.
Bye-bye.
I'm very sad and have no appetite. The first 2 weeks after letting my child go are very tough and lonely. After a fortnight, I miss them less, and it gets a bit better.
Being on my own is difficult. When my big brother's at home, we do everything together. He tends the sheep and the goats, but now I have to do that by myself, and that's difficult.
With good reason, parents and children cross the river always in small groups. That way, they can help each other in an emergency and profit from the other's experience. Motup and his father meet Dolka down at the river. She will join them.
Hello, how are you? Shake his hand. Come on, shake his hand.
2 more fellow students are waiting, Zeshma and Jordan. They are accompanied by Jordan's father, Thinley. Latak carries Dolka's baggage. His sleigh must bear more than 30 kilograms by now. The 6 of them plan to make the 100 kilometers in 3 to 4 days, if nothing goes wrong. Motup and the other children use hiking sticks for better support. The adults carry the sticks for a different reason.
With the stick, we check if the snow and the ice are okay. The stick is a tool for us. Here, the snow is hard and good.
At the beginning, the path is wide, the ice strong and thick. The children are making good progress on the fresh snow. It is cold. In spite of the sunshine, temperatures lie at minus 10 degrees Celsius. In the shade, it is far colder. The first 3 hours of the way that will last for days lies now behind the children. They're tired and have decided to ride on the sleighs. Time for the first break, right next to the river on the ice. Thinley lights the kerosene stove. Latak fetches water, from the river, of course. Hot and sweet food is supposed to invigorate the children. Dinner is what is always is in wintertime, even at home. Chai and sampa. This is a sweet, milky tea made with barley flour. One 10-minute break per hour, one big break per day. By following this rhythm, the adults hope that the children will be able to cope with the challenges of this long way to school. At least Motup is optimistic. He has been through this once before.
Last time, it wasn't that far. I liked it. I was only a bit scared.
Afternoon is approaching. It won't be long until the sun disappears behind the mountains of the canyon. Then, temperatures could quickly drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Concentration suffers from the permanent cold and exertion, but it makes no difference. They have to keep going, and quickly. Motup's mother, Chozdon, is visiting a stupa in Sangla. At the Buddhist monument, she will pray for a safe passage for Motup and Latak.
Last year, the Chadar was very tough. Sometimes they had to walk in the water. All the clothes got wet, and so did the money. They nearly fell off the rocks, but luckily they were rescued.
During the winter months, the Chadar is the only way to leave the high mountain valley Sanskar. In this uppermost northwestern part of India, there is practically no infrastructure. Whoever doesn't absolutely need to go to town stays in his village and goes to town in summer. For many Ladakis, the Chadar is an adventure they never want to experience. But still, school children regularly make the long journey. The sun has just gone down behind the mountain in the river valley. It suddenly turns ice cold. Their first night out in this unforgiving wilderness lies before them. Latak and Thinley now need shelter as quickly as possible for the night. A few meters above the river, they have discovered a cave. Finding a safe shelter by the river is an adventure in itself, and it certainly won't be the only time they will all have to climb the rocks. They will spend the first night up here in this half-open cave. The cold has already struck the children to the marrow. They must keep themselves warm by every means in order not to fall ill. At nightfall, temperatures decrease to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Now the fire not only warms the inhabitants, but also heats up the cave floor a bit, on which fathers and children will later want to sleep. Motup is tired, and his father is concerned about the following days.
If the weather remains good, this will be a calm Chadar. If it gets bad, anything can happen.
I think it'll work out.
At least day 2 starts with sunshine. The night was cold, but bearable. On the Chadar, there are no pajamas or extra clothing. One sleeps in the clothes one is already wearing. The only way to endure the icy temperatures in the old army sleeping bags. And a solid night's sleep is important for the children.
I get tired when we walk for a long time. Sometimes we don't take any breaks, but I like the breaks. When we stop for the night, I look forward to my sleep.
From now on, things get very serious. The most difficult passages of the way to school are imminent. The river Zanskar digs ever deeper into the canyon. The speed in which the river flows increases dramatically, and there is less and less ice along its banks. From now on, this way to school is seriously dangerous. 2 kilometers further down, they reach the first really difficult passage. The ice at the edge of the rock is so narrow and thin, it seems they are stuck for the moment. With all his experience, Latak checks whether the ice is strong enough to support them. Here the river is not deep, but fast and extremely cold. If one of the children fell into the water here, quite definitely he or she would be pulled under the ice by the river's current. The mistake would be fatal. 10-year-old Motup dares to go first. His father, Latak, keeps his eyes glued to him all the time. Passages like this one, a foretaste of the difficulties which experience has shown, will be awaiting them in the course of this journey. Latak and Thinley take no risks. Their responsibility for the children is too great. This time, everything works out fine.
Oh, yeah.
But the next problem is just around the corner. The river levels have risen during the night. Water has run across the ice cover, and another ice layer has formed. A treacherous one indeed. Moving forward on the river becomes ever more difficult. The danger intensifies as the route leads downhill. As the group advances towards the valley, the warmer it gets. The ice on the rocks gets thinner and thinner. Here, the ice has already broken away from the edge of the rock. The fathers decide to examine the next few meters on their own, without children. The danger of breaking through and slipping into the water is too great. If they can't continue on the ice, they must avoid it by moving across the rocks.
Can we cross here? From up above or from here? No, it's impossible from here. We have to climb the other way.
At all costs, Latak wants to avoid a dangerous climb and takes another close look at the narrow parts. No chance at all. They have to climb over the rocks. Falling is only one of the fears that trouble Latak.
What can one say about the Chadar? 3 years ago, a boy broke through the ice and died. I knew the boy. That's not allowed to happen and shouldn't ever happen. That's what I pray for.
The men have to investigate whether the rock is passable at all here. It seems possible. Moreover, they don't really have a choice. The fathers decide to carry the luggage over to the other side first. It's a balancing act, and a very dangerous one too. More so with 30 kilograms of weight on their backs. Thinley fights his way up the rock inch by inch in his rubber boots. The higher he climbs, the more difficult the passage gets. The rock ledge is the crux. Far more narrow, steep, and difficult, the descent to the river. Thinley gropes his way down without safety ropes. One false step, and he falls in the river together with his backpack. Done, even without safety equipment. They somehow managed. While the children are still completely unaware of the dangerous situation, Latak sets off with the remaining luggage. So far, the Chadar has worked out well for the children. Now, the first really great challenge on their way to school lies ahead of them. First up, Motup and Dorka. The adults split up in a way so that they can help the children at the most dangerous spots. The fathers do not carry ropes or any security devices. Should Motup slip, Thinley must by all means catch him. Now, once more, it gets really steep. One slip and fall into the cold water, and the river would instantly carry away the children. The fear is written all over Motup's face. But in the end, everyone manages the dangerous passage across the rocks.
I was afraid while climbing, but it was also fun. The mountains are high and it's scary to look down.
Done. The next passage is easier, especially on the sleigh. From time to time, the clear ice surfaces, the right moment to catch a breath. Like this, the way to school is fun, and time flies for the next few kilometers.
On the Chadar, I like riding the sleigh the most because it feels like sitting in a little car. It is a lot of fun.
The next day, day 3, the weather has suddenly changed. The fathers had been expecting this already yesterday. It's snowing. Fresh snow means rising temperatures, and therefore rising water levels. Here, in the narrowest and steepest part of the canyon, this could have serious consequences. Today, they're great for playing with. At high water, the iron bars serve as a footbridge across the river. If they too are beneath water level, there is no way forward. Then the river becomes impassable at this point.
I've never been held up here by high water. But I've heard of people that had to go around this place, and they needed an extra 2 days. Because of high water.
Last time, Latak was standing in the water up to his belly. It quickly becomes obvious that, again, he and the children will not get away from the high water. An approaching group knows what it looks like over there on the river.
Hello, how are you? What does it look like over there? High water?
It's up to here.
Up to the knee?
Yeah.
Up to where exactly? Up to here?
No, to here.
In fact, the condition of the ice coverage is ominous, menacing, worrisome, threatening. How high the water actually is becomes evident only when the school children and their fathers are right in the middle of it, because the water level may suddenly rise within minutes. To dodge into the rocks once again is absolutely impossible. They are too steep here. Thinly urges them to hurry up.
Okay, that's not a lot of water. Let's go. Not over there, come here.
Latak dares to go onto this passage together with the 2 boys and Seshma. The rubber boots are impermeable, but not lined. The feet immediately turn ice cold, and that hurts. For the moment, Dorka stays behind. Her boots are not high enough. In the middle of the river, the levels seem to decrease a little again. But the children are now ice cold in their boots. Jordan can't go on any longer. After 200 meters, he is absolutely exhausted and needs to be carried. A little later, the water gets deeper once again. Now it seeps into the rubber boots. At least Motup has stayed dry, in contrast to Jordan. Water has seeped into his boots at these icy temperatures. Luckily, his father has taken precautions and has a fresh pair of socks for him. Latak has now waded back to fetch Dorka. Everything is completely wet, at minus 30 degrees. Thinley didn't pack extra dry socks for himself, though, and so the old ones in the wet rubber boots will have to do. Latak must cross the river 3 times. For Dorka, 1 piggyback ride is already enough.
I was very afraid here a moment ago. It feels as if you're falling into the river, but I like the climbing.
Day 4. The destination seems within reach. Only a few minor, tricky passages lie ahead of them now. Motup and the others are in a hurry to reach the town now. On the one hand, they are simply tired out after 90 kilometers of marching. And on the other hand, the rising temperatures are melting the ice more and more. Here, a few kilometers away from the road leading to Leh, it once again gets really dangerous. The edges of the ice on both sides of the river are very thin. The current and the warmth have almost cleared the river of ice. Again, the rocks are the only way out. Going up seems to be less tiring this time. But going down... This detour, so shortly before the end, is very hard for the students. Especially Jordan, who is so exhausted he can hardly walk anymore. He repeatedly loses his balance.
The fact that we went over the rocks once again was not so bad, but sometimes I was afraid too. Because from the top, it feels like you are looking down a high, steep wall.
But then, the children have made it. After about 100 kilometers on the river, a steep path forks off towards the street. The last real obstacle on the way to school in Leh. Now the fathers, too, are exhausted. They want to freshen themselves up a little before arriving at the big town. At the end of the school holidays, share taxis are waiting for fathers and children who have to return to school, up here in the middle of nowhere. It's another 60 kilometers to Leh. Motup, Jordan, Dolka, and Teshma are totally tired. They fall asleep immediately and are too exhausted to be glad to have made it across the river. Two hours later, they reach Leh. After a 4-day expedition, the boys arrive at the school gate. The girls attend a different, bigger school. They have to drive on. Here at the stairs of the Jamyang school, one of the most dangerous ways to school on earth, ends for Motup and Jordan, and school begins. Together with their fathers, they register for the new school year. Only a few steps away is Motup's dormitory. The 10-year-old shares his bedroom with 7 fellow students. Two of the boys have already arrived. They come from remote valleys. Their way to school is much shorter, so their parents can visit them from time to time, in marked contrast to Motup.
Of course, I am a bit sad, but at the same time, I am happy to meet my friends again. But it's still very sad because my dad brought me here and now he has to leave.
A few minutes later, it's time to go. The fathers must quickly return due to the rising temperatures. After only half an hour, they say goodbye to their sons without further ado.
Don't be cheeky, don't start fighting, and be good at school. Take good care of each other. It feels bad, very sad. I feel like crying leaving the children behind like that. It's just sad. But we don't cry, because we don't want to set a bad example. It might make them want to cry even more. That's why we try to control ourselves and just leave quickly.
Latak and Thinley quickly set out because of the unpredictable conditions on the river. They don't know how long the ice will last and do not want to waste time. The next day is a Saturday, the beginning of the new school year. Everyone in Motup's school starts with a Buddhist prayer. Dolka's school lies at the upper end of town. Here, too, everyone prays. Then the headmaster holds an introductory speech for the new school year. Dolkar's school is much bigger. After the morning assembly, 1,400 students go to their classrooms.
Oh, good morning, sit down. Okay, how are you?
Dolka is in the 7th grade now. She's got math class, or rather, the joy of mathematics. Motup now is in the 5th grade, and he swiftly receives a pile of new books, one luxury the school of his home village does not offer. Lunchtime. All 300 students of the Jamyang school assemble in the auditorium. They're having rice and lentils, served by the so-called foster mothers. For Motup, the foster mothers are the people to whom he relates most closely at boarding school. They live together with him in the residential home and support their fosterling not only practically but also morally. One of them is Dolma Tseki.
When the children return from holidays, at first they miss their parents very much, their mother, their dad. But after a week, everything returns to normal again. We let the children play. We divide them into different groups. We console them, and slowly, they calm down.
Time will heal the painful farewells. Motup and Jordan have found a surrogate family here at school. Their fathers, Latak and Thinley, are back on the Chadar. Ahead of them lies a long and dangerous way, and no one knows what surprises it holds in store.